We are live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James. I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen in this video, but that's okay. You know what? We live to fight another day. Joining me, as always, my girl, my co-host, my best friend in the whole wide world, Mrs. Best. Y'all say what's up to her.
Hello.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to both channels. I actually put her channel description in my description box, so make sure you click on the link, subscribe to her channel, show her some love, get her to 500 so she can get that monetization going. Or is it 1,000?
It's 500, but I want 1,000 because at 500, all you get is like super chats and a shop.
Oh, okay. Well, roll to 1,000, y'all. We getting there. I'm gonna go off camera for a little bit because I see I am delaying a little bit, so I'm gonna go off camera, but that's okay. I will still be here. We will still be live, and we still gonna go, and I'm still gonna narrate. So I'm gonna go off camera, and I'll come back in and out. Oh, and also I want to shout out. I have 51 subscribers at the time of this video, so I am getting there, y'all. I'm trying. This is hard, so I'm trying. But yeah, let me go off camera. Thank you.
At least they're real. At least they're real.
Yeah, they comment all the time. I'm like, I got to catch up on those comments. So, y'all, this is Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 15. I forgot to put that in the description. Sorry, y'all. I'll put it in there before the video uploads. Season 15, episode or reunion part 2. We are finally done. This is the last video. I have completed my second series on my channel. Watch Your Mouth Reviews. It is hard to keep up with this, especially this season. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on to it. So the reunion actually picked up where it left off, which was the, dramatization of Courtney versus Drew. And it was very irritating to watch. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I was really looking at my TV and saying, oh, my God. Like, I have never seen a cousin so thirsty for a man's attention in all my life. And then I'm like, is you really his cousin? Because I don't know. So basically, Drew got her together saying don't mention her child because if you guys did not watch the finale, Courtney pushed the narrative that Drew wanted Ralph to adopt her son so he could pay her, or pay the bills and whatever, and she can be in this lesbian relationship with Ty. That is what Courtney said in the confessional, that she didn't think the cameras were rolling. So Drew had to point out, no, the cameras were rolling. That was very disgusting of what she said. And she was all like, well, you are a liar, Drew. You're a manipulator. You are a narcissist, the things you accused Ralph of. And I did not mention your kids. And everyone's like, yes, you did. And she goes, I don't need the peanut gallery over there to, insert themselves. And I'm just looking at her like, oh, my God, get off my screen. So, the question then comes up to Drew, is there anything you want to reveal about Ty? Like, who is Ty? And does anyone else have any information on Ty? And this is Sheree messy behind. Well, someone sent a package to my house. They just put it on my front door. And they're like, well, who sent it to your front door, Sheree? That's what Andy asked. And she goes, well, I don't know. I didn't answer it. And everyone's like, well, how'd they get over the gate, Sheree? Which... cut the bullshit, Sheree. Ralph or either Courtney gave you those messages. It was one of those two. So who do you think actually gave Sheree those text messages, Mrs. Best?
Okay, so here's the thing. Ralph is messy, and I think that a lot of people think that because he has a relationship with Marlo, like obviously Marlo said she likes him and stuff. I think people think, oh, he's probably sending messages. I don't feel like Ralph would, just because it seems like since all this has gone down, him and Drew move off of what their lawyer or publicist wants them to do a little bit. I think it was Courtney. She's the only person thirsty enough to get into someone else's business, like innate personal business too. Like a divorce is like intimate as fuck. So she's the only one that has a motive to do it. Because Monietta, she's a friend of, but she's not a friend of like we've had in the past before, like Marlo. Like Monietta doesn't need this shit. So we have to remember that. Courtney, And then Ralph, he has to protect himself in the divorce because when you're in court, it's just about looking good. And these people have money. So this ain't the normal, everyday divorce where, we may handle it different because we're at a different financial bracket, if you get what I'm trying to say. Now, I don't think Ralph would do it. I think Ralph's pretty shitty, but I don't think he would do that. I definitely think Courtney did it. And if she did it, Ralph is probably the person who gave her the information and or paperwork. But of course, he's not the one who was like, yeah, go over there. But I'm sure knowing Ralph, he was like, listen, what you choose to do with it, it's like you choose to do with it. You know what? James knows. He knows. I'm telling you. So yes, Ralph probably he's a part of it in some way because the information came from him. But I'm pretty sure that the messenger, the delivery person, the wannabe top flight FedEx delivery person, it's got to be Courtney. Because she would be on they live in a gated community, y'all. Like, it looks open when we look on TV, but these are communities. If you grew up somewhere,
who lives in a gated community?
Don't they live in a gated community?
Sheree don't live in no damn gated community. Sheree live off of Main Street over there on Chastain, right there where a bus in front of her house is like right in front of a bus stop. Like, stop. No, she don't live in no damn gated community.
Not a bus stop. I thought that she was like, on most of the housewife shows, like the communities they live in, you have to buzz your way in. Like,
I'm sure she has a buzz on her private gate, absolutely, but she don't live in no gated community, y'all. Like, Sheree literally lives on a main street. Like, it's off a main street. Her and Kenya both. That's why Kenya wants to. I don't know if you could remember. It was like 3 or 4 seasons ago. Kenya actually had problems with people walking on her private property. So she actually had on one of those videos, it was her with holding a gun, telling her to get the fuck off my property. Like, she was telling fans, like, because it's not anybody can go there. So that's why
would they purchase now Kenya. I know Kenya's cheap as hell, and was probably purchasing because she's thinking maybe I won't be on Housewives forever. But Sheree, she should just stayed in that apartment.
I'm telling you, or probably got her a nice little high rise or something that would have been like more easy to maintain. This looks like this is above her means.
Well, that changes things. I'm thinking this whole time that it was kind of like the Married to Medicine situation with Anila when she got robbed and stuff. How they're like, well, the only place someone can get in. I'm like, hell.
Some of them live that way. I know Candy lives in a gated community. Yeah, and I know Drew lived in the same community that Portia lived in. So I know that's I know she lives in one. I don't know about Manietta, and I don't know about Marlo. But I do know as far as King and Sheree, they both live on some main streets. So
I did not know that. My apologies. That don't make no sense. If I'm on TV, I need to either be in an apartment where people are buzzed up in their security, or I need to be somewhere gated, just because people in the public, people get too invested in these shows to where they might, go do something. And I ain't got time.
Exactly. So moving on, y'all. So they finally, after Courtney got read, because Drew definitely gave her a good read. She read her for extreme filth. So what ended up happening from there, they ended up breaking for lunch. And this scene really did piss me off because it was the way Courtney goes into Ralph's dressing room. It's like Ralph is over there, getting his, Beijing and his lineup up. And Courtney walks in the room. She goes, "How you holding up?" And then she gives him this hug. And he's like, "I'm okay." And then Allison I saw her walk down the hall, but she looked in Ralph's room and saw that Courtney was in it. So she waited at the door. She scooted back. And look, and Courtney tried to close the door on her. She said, "Excuse me," and tried to close the door on her. Man, Allison did that Wonder Woman swoop. Don't close no door on me. And I didn't hear Courtney say "bitch." I didn't hear that come out her mouth personally.
No.
But she said, she goes, "You call me a bitch? I thought you didn't use that word."
She's like you now. Courtney. Yeah. Once, like, the worst thing you can do that people will never let you get over on Housewives and really reality TV, do not say, "I know for a fact I do not use that word," and then get proven that you use the word and then never acknowledge it. And Bravo has got to do better. There's no reason, like, separate from how we all feel about Courtney, there's no reason somebody so desperate to be relevant should be on television. And the reason why is because it's dangerous for the network, because you never know who's, bad button she gonna push. Is dangerous for the audience because it puts the network at risk. We don't want to watch people like her. That's why them making casting decisions like Courtney is exactly the fucking reason why this particular franchise is failing of the Housewives. Like,
I agree completely,
you can
100%.
want fame,
Because
but she's too much.
it's too much. It's too much too soon. So moving
Mhm.
on from there, everyone comes back, you know, and we sit back on the couch and everything, and I'm just like, Lord, please don't bring Ralph out here. Please don't. He was going to do exactly what he did. Y'all, they did go over some shit with Kenya. It was irrelevant. I don't really care. Sheree asked a question in a form of a fan, which was stupid, and said that she lived in Sandy Springs. Sheree, you full of shit. I just want to let you know that now. Yo ass do not live in no fucking Sandy Springs. I don't know where the hell you got that shit from. Unless Andy got it wrong and you talking about Sheree Buchanan from Atlanta Exes. So, Andy, if that's what you did, if you messed up on the name, then fine. But I know Sheree does not live in no damn Sandy Springs. Get up out of here. So, moving on. Yeah, I just had to get that off my chest, y'all, because I wasn't going to let Sheree live that one day.
I have a
Right.
question. Did they bring up on part 1 or 2? Because this was something I missed and I didn't have time to rewatch. Did they ever discuss like Martel?
No.
So y'all advertised this man in the trailer, which is honestly the only reason why a lot of us watched, because we wanted to see what the fuck that shit could be about. And then he has this interaction. All the women talk shit about him. He got into it with a few of them. And no one, I understand him not being there because Martel doesn't like doing things that make him accountable, but like what are
They
you
brought him up in
doing?
like snippets. They brought him up with whether or not Kenya owed an apology, because we talked about it last video. And then they brought him up again with the whole birthday dinner thing, which I didn't want to talk about because it was stupid. It's like, I don't care. We know he can't afford to pay a
I'm just like,
$1,500
they
bill.
should
So
not have
why,
put
why do
him
we care?
so they should not have put this man in the trailer if it wasn't genuinely a storyline that was worth filming, which it wasn't. Like, we know their relationship's fake, but even if it was like a real relationship, it just was not worth filming. But that's all. That was a side note. Apologies.
Okay, so I want to talk about Sanya real quick. So we touch on Sanya, and we understand that her sister has moved out of the house. Her parents have moved out of the house. They live in the same community. That's only 5 minutes away from Sanya's house. Um, I honestly feel like, and I know I'm gonna catch hell for saying this, but I don't really give a fuck. I feel like her mama and her daddy and the sister and the husband live in one house. That's down the block that they paying rent on. I do. That's just me. I could be wrong, and I don't give a fuck either way. But
I feel like Sanya's family leeches off of her. And
we all know that.
it's just like, so it's because there was no need for them to all be in the same house.
See, here's the thing. Sanya was the ticket out of poverty. That's really, if we really want to put it, and y'all could act like the daddy could have did this, the mama could have did that, whatever the fuck y'all want to say. I know how these things work. You have a golden child. You put all this energy into this golden child, knowing that they have potential, and then when they do make it, then you reap the benefits of the extra expansive income that comes with that. Like, let's not act like that doesn't happen. Williams family.
Well, I mean, Sanya admitted that. She said her parents treated her much differently, put her on a level higher than her sister because she was the firstborn and the one with the most talent. I mean, I'm not saying doing hair isn't a talent, but in African American community, if my braider, God forbid, can't braid my hair no more, I can do it myself.
Well, see, and let's expand on that since we have a little time because I ain't talk about shit. So let's expand on that a little bit. So, like, for me, when Sanya was saying that the focus was all on her, it made me look at the dynamic a lot differently with her sister, because it made me feel like, okay, your sister might have some resentment towards you that made it feel like she was always on the out. And what y'all did was you made sure to include her in all your, endeavors and avenues and make sure she was in your same circle. But just like with Mallory with Cynthia, we saw, if you guys watched the Iyanla Van Zandt episode with Mallory, you notice how much Cynthia played in part in her demise of her, well-being. Like it really was, this was Cynthia's life, and I don't have any friends because Cynthia made them for us. I don't have, you know, connections because Cynthia got them for us. I have money because of Cynthia. So, and I think that that's kind of like where Sanya's sister is. I think that that's what that was too. I feel like she got the connections because of Sanya. And I feel like Sanya notices it, but what can you do about that? Because you can't erase time, you can't go back. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that situation, but I'm glad that, they have their home back. It was really sad to hear Sanya talk about losing that baby. Like, and that happened in New York where they currently were filming this. Like, I know that had to be hard. I mean, praise God that she was able to get pregnant again and was able to carry, she made it out of the, safety zone. That's what I call, the first 3 months is the safety zone. She made it out of it.
Everybody knows that the first 3 months is a safety zone.
Mm-hmm.
People who don't have children know that. People who are in high school know that. That honestly, it sucks. But I believe everything in life happens for a reason, and everything that we go through in life is a lesson. And maybe that was God's way of saying, hey, don't use your kids or certain things for a way to stay relevant on this show, because that's what it felt like. Even the women were like, why are you telling us so soon, announcing your pregnancy in a bigger, grander way to your friends, but this happened and your husband opened a notebook? Like, I just felt like, I'm glad that Sanya is pregnant again, but I hope that she continues to learn from her experience if she comes back to next season of RHOA. Hell, if there is a next season, we may be headed towards a
Yeah, and I want to expand on that
type
later
of.
on in the video because I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not
But
saying I don't feel sorry. I have actually experienced miscarriages before as a female, so I do understand. I had to go to therapy for years over one. So I do get how it's impactful, and I know nobody wants that. But at the same time, that was tacky, Sanya. Like, some things, even though you're on TV, even the audience expects you to keep certain things under wraps until it's, at least the same audience watchers. I didn't like that, but we'll see.
absolutely. So moving forward, Sanya then goes in on Kenya, and I didn't like this at all because I felt like, yeah, it's one thing that if you felt that she didn't do the proper reaching out to you after you lost your baby when you thought y'all had a friendship, fine. But then to not really have a stick, like straight up bullet point of where she like shows up short for you as a friend, just really made me feel like this is the same thing you did with Drew. And I caught that right away because Sonya has this habit of when people show up differently than what she expects, then she can somewhat just call them a bad friend or say they were never there for her. I don't think that Kenya wasn't there for her. I just felt like Kenya didn't know exactly what boundary to take with you when it came to that. So of course she's not going to send you flowers like some of the other ones did. Of course she's not going to automatically think to pick up the phone, even though she did say she did call. You know,
I believe
so you didn't
Kenya
deny
called
it.
Sanya
I do
because
too,
the
but
way
at
that
the same
Kenya
time,
handled it and looked. Like, usually if Kenya's guilty or something, she'll certainly become animated and do too much. But I feel like Sanya just pulled that shit because she can't get at Drew right now because it'll be ill received because she's going through a public divorce. I still don't buy shit that
so do
Sanya
you
says.
still think that Sanya still has it out for Drew?
Yes, I don't think that Sanya. I think that Sanya will. If let's say the cast stays the same, let's say people were watching the show, I think that Sanya would absolutely be going after Kenya, Drew. We saw her a little bit She could have got messy and done a little bit, but Moneta. But then you have to look. It's like, okay, Marlo, who's been on the show, regardless if she was a friend of or not, 4 years and was friends with notorious OGs and all of that. You're aligning with Marlo. But then you're aligning Sanya. She says her and Candy got really close and all of that. And I'm like, oh, so you were able to get close and understand Candy's schedule and how she is to get close. It just looks like the people that she comes for are the ones on the show. And I'm not talking about their individual careers, but who are either less liked or not who some would view as like RHOA. Like,
so she's
more
not like with the popular. She wants to be with the popular girls
I
of the
think everything
show.
she's doing is calculated. She wants to align
Yeah.
with the people who have been there the longest. It does, even if we don't think they're popular. Like, for instance, a lot of people watching the show right now, I'd say the greater number of people watching this show feel like Candy needs to go, but they like Candy. You know what I mean? I feel like Sanya is aligning with people who she thinks won't leave the show. But a lot of people don't think Candy will leave the show because she's got
Yeah, I'm about to say if that's really what her mindset is, that's the wrong mindset to have because honestly, I feel like if they could get Portia to come back on the show, or if they can get one of the other OG, Sheree's gone. Sheree is boring. That is like dead weight. And speaking of Marlo, Marlo didn't even have a segment in either or. I just realized that.
Because last season she did too much. She did too much trying to be a housewife. And I feel like to play it safe, they avoided her segment. But they needed to go over Marlo like more in depth, because if this was any other housewife, any other franchise, this would be like a deep discussion where the group is like, your behavior is not okay. Somebody would have recommended, like, Marlo. I can't even be mad at the cast anymore for their actions. This is showing that the production on this show either does not give a fuck or does not know what to do.
But that's crazy to me to think that she skated through this whole reunion and we only had like 2 or 3 questions with her. Like they went over the thing with her and Drew, but they didn't expand on it. They went over the thing with her and Candy. We know that was a dead situation because, and the reason why I said we didn't touch on Marlo's personal life. We didn't hear about no damn Scotty, but that one question we didn't hear like is, are you guys planning to get married? We hear, are you guys planning to have
not
kids?
to stop you though, but do we really give a fuck?
No, but she's a cast member on the
I'm
show.
just saying,
so
like,
as reviewers, we have to talk about it.
We have to talk about it, and we got to talk about our opinion. So my reviewed opinion is I could give a flying fuck, because Marlo, her nephews are really cute, but I feel like those young men have been through so much and they just need to be off of television, living the most normal life that they could.
Yeah, because I feel like at this point, Marlo, I need to see something else. I mean,
and then Scotty's too new for us to take seriously.
I don't feel like that is serious anyway. I feel like this is going to be a convenient. You want to promote your restaurant? Come on the show and be my boyfriend, and you might get a little taste of panties and everything. Now, I feel like that's what she's doing. I do.
Yep.
I don't, I'm just saying, and that's alleged, y'all. I know Marlo, she lawyered up tight. I know that. It's alleged. Anyways,
you gotta be lawyered up tight when you got a felon on your record. You never know what to get you back in trouble. So
yeah. So moving on to finally Ralph and Drew in this whole damn what seemed like it was 35 minutes, but only 15. But so Ralph comes out and he gives you a spiel, we hate to see that you guys have come to this point of divorce and everything of that. Drew is there like on the verge of tears. She's trying not to cry. Like I was looking at her, I was like, oh, Drew is really trying not to cry. So every time they would ask you a question, she would just, be mute and look at Ralph and go, ask him. So a few things are going on here in this moment. Ralph is trying to play dumb and stupid. That was one, and that was obvious. Drew's trying to deflect because somewhere down the line, I cannot say that her and Ty, because I don't believe Mimi. I'm sorry. I don't believe her at all. But somewhere down the line, it may be just an emotional connection. It's some kind of connection. I'm not saying, there's nothing there, but there's something, but it's not sexual. It doesn't feel like sexual chemistry to me, looking at Drew. So I'm gonna say that. And and then the whole Ralph cheating thing, and that comes up again, and she pulls out her phone. She has, showing Andy, booty messages. Ralph's talking about that's somebody that's catfishing. And when he said the word catfishing, I said, Ralph, that's a little too close for comfort for someone to be catfishing you and feeling that they comfortable to send you they whole ass without you not exploiting them. Now, come on.
I just feel like it's even redundant for them to try and make this a thing at the reunion. Like
Which is
a
why I'm not covering
fucking
everything.
like an infant could see that Ralph cheated. He came on the show cheating on her. And so the divorce for me, this is the most uninteresting divorce for me because much of the things that, couples break up publicly and then they suddenly start doing the public accusations against each other. Nothing that either of them are saying are a surprise to any of us viewers because we've either seen it on the show or seen it on the social media somewhere. So it makes you, I'm not saying like, of course, there's some sort of entertainment we expected, but I think Ralph and Drew, all I'll say, and I will let you finish because my opinion will not change. This was the most uncomfortable interaction caught on camera between two people whose DNA has made people that I have watched on television in like a long time. I'm watching like this, like, no, no. Like it was difficult to watch. And everything that they said is just a bunch of accusations we've been saying. I just think it's a lesson to people. Like when people show you who they are, believe them, please.
I
It's a
agree, but at the same time, like when she said I had given you all my 30s and you have been doing this the entire marriage, I was like, damn. Like at that point, I'm like, okay, I I have to side with Drew because I felt like she knew he was playing. That was one thing, and we all knew he was playing because he looked dumbfounded. So yeah, we all knew he was playing. And then also, you could tell that that was years and years and years of her not being able to say exactly how she feels about her husband to his face without him saying what she said here. Drew, you're acting. I could tell he uses that as like a
all
safe
the
word or like a
time.
pineapples or like a, like kind of like a way to, downplay what her actual point is. And I hate when people do that to her or to any actor. Like, oh, you're acting right now. Acting is still an emotive state. You still feel what you're acting. You still feel. Crying is acting. If we really wanted to keep it real, crying is acting. So I'm sorry. I cannot sit there and say this girl is acting when you can literally feel her emotions. You can literally feel it. So I'm sorry. I was so mad when he said that. I was like, see, Drew better than me because when I tell you instead of telling Andy to pan him that peach, I would have threw it at his head and went to jail. Right
That's
then.
the thing for me that ruined it too. Stop with the fucking props, bro. That shit
Yeah,
is.
everybody was like, "Where you get them
It's
props
like, and it's
from?"
not original. This has been done so many times before, and every time Drew gets a prop, it never lands right.
It doesn't.
People got
Well,
vitamin C.
that plum landed up in Andy's mouth, so I can't say he did eat it for a very long time, damn near this whole reunion. So, but anyway, so Drew walks off stage and she's crying and she's distraught because after he said, Drew, you're acting, after she shows, all the messages and stuff and pretty much, pouring out her heart to him, she goes all crying and runs to the back. Moneta and Sanya, which I was shocked that Sanya followed behind to go check on Drew. I really was. I don't know why I didn't expect her to do that, but she did. So I have to give her some points. Sanya, that's all you getting from me. But Allison was in the back there, and this is what I wanted. I wish they'd exposed this a little bit more. Why didn't you mention the private investigator? Why didn't you mention that, Drew? Allison was coaching. I was like, yeah, Allison, why don't you go ahead and tell it? Since you already opened up your mouth and said it, why don't you go ahead and say it? So, what do you think that private investigator found out about Mr. Ralph?
Probably everything we already know. I mean, I'm just over it. I'm like, how sad can you go from crying 1 minute to throwing a fucking form of fruit the next? I don't know.
Well, in her defense, she gave him the fruit first, and then she went into her spiel.
I'm
So
just over it.
let's get.
You
Yeah, I can
don't get
tell.
to talk about, oh, now I'm expressing everything. The man's been doing this. Here, we were tired just watching them for 3 years. I have no idea how she did it for 9, but yeah, I'm
I
not
don't know either. Like when I look at that, I'm like, girl, there is no fucking way I would have been done year 2.
I stand firm on this. I'm not interested in a divorce. I know we have to discuss what we saw on the reunion, but the reason I'm not interested in this divorce is because I feel like production, we watched them ignore all these other storylines, things that could have been edited in, questions that could have been asked, whole scenes we missed, just to focus on this tired ass divorce that should have happened 17 years ago. So I'm just really over here, like, outside of the divorce, Drew, what do you give? Because outside of this divorce, unfortunately, I don't think she's lying about any of the stuff with Ralph, but everything else in life she does seem to lie about. From
My
Chicago,
thing
it's
is,
not using the word shooting, to her not knowing about certain stuff. So I just don't feel. I just don't feel after watching this season, she's got to go. And I feel like if she stays on the show too, then Ralph will get some form of a platform still, and I don't like that. So
I don't either, but I don't want her. I do want her to go, but I want her to expand on her acting career and her singing career. I don't
oh
want
no,
her to be around.
Drew is gonna work. It seems like maybe those years where she was quiet because she took a break, because she was everywhere. So when these ladies try to throw shade at her, like she's the actor from yesterday because she chose to be. Like
Right? Yeah, let's don't do that.
Sometimes they need a break, but I think that Drew Sidora will forever be acting. She's a great actress and all of that. But I just, the longer she's on this show, I feel like it's going to become like you can't have Drew without Ralph. Kind of like Dolores Catania and Frank Catania on the Housewives of New Jersey. They've been divorced for 20 fucking years, but they can't film without each other.
I don't know who she's talking about. So
those who watch other Housewives franchises will know they are.
I only watch 4. Y'all know what those 4 are. So
I'm talking about Dolores, as Kempire calls her, our Black Dolores from the Housewives of New Jersey. Her ex-husband is on the show, and you know how the men are like main cast members on that show. Frank is on that show with her. They vacation together. She's got a new man. He's got a new boo.
I don't know nobody, yo. All I knew was Teresa and Melissa.
But I'm saying, like, seems like that's what I knew
Caroline Manzo because that was my girl.
You can hide. But no, I'm talking about a different person. But the situation is similar. I think that's what would happen with Drew. Like, we would either hear about Ralph constantly because he's thirsty and gonna maintain contact with people who are also thirsty, like Marlo and the rest of them. I think we're gonna forever be stuck with Ralph if she doesn't like separate from the show, get a divorce, and then come back. But like
to watch her do that, just get a divorce and just move on.
Oh,
yeah, I don't even want her to do that. Just get a divorce and move on. But anywho, let's move on because I gotta get Salt Lake City. So, Drew finally comes out and sits back down. And she got to sing her little song, which was the most awkward moment of that whole reunion. I was like, why would y'all have her do this? And I haven't done this all video, y'all. So I'm about to do it right now. Bravo in that call center. I want y'all to listen to me and listen to me good. Do not ever do this again. Because that was the most horrible production move I had ever seen in Bravo history. Mm-hmm. That was terrible. The fact that this woman's emotional state of mind is not all the way there, and her, not to mention the reason why it's not all the way there, is sitting right across from her, and y'all want her to do her exact profession, which is sing, while she's in this state of mind. Y'all are crazy for this. If I was Drew, I'd be like, I ain't singing shit. Now, y'all gonna have to do something else. And that's where you stand on your grind and you say, hey, I ain't singing a fucking thing. There you go.
I would have done the same thing also to show him real housewives, not house husbands, Ralph, because we know this what you are. Housewives. And the other thing I want to say, Drew, if you do want us to like you or trust you a little bit, it's really not cute to be living with your ex, especially when you're in a situation financially where you don't have to be. Why
Is
is that
she?
man in the house? They
Is
still
she?
live together.
No, I'm saying, is she in the financial?
I listen,
I don't
I
know. That's why I'm asking, because to me,
one would
there's no
assume
way in
she
hell.
might be having some financial issues because
Everybody have financial
um,
issues, but I'm just saying, I
well, the
don't
other
think.
thing is she did that movie The Pass. I'm sorry. I don't care how good it came out to be. I wouldn't have trusted that to do. And if I was financially okay, I would have waited for Lifetime. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But I'm not saying the movie was bad at all. But
No, the movie was actually
yeah,
really good. But I'm
it's
just
just weird
saying,
that he's
she
still
has another
living in
movie coming
Dubai.
out with Rachel Nae Carter, and
Oh no, so
um,
she's just going backwards.
look, I'm not going here with you tonight. Okay,
She
y'all.
is.
So,
Ray Janae don't act.
well, she did in this movie. I saw the teaser on Instagram, so
I guess
look,
Drew found
I'm
some
not
new
gonna see it.
actors. So
But if y'all go and see Rachel Nae and Drew little movie, y'all go ahead and put it in my comments and let me know how it was, because I'm not gonna be watching it. That's not my kind of movie. So, idiot. After that, they toast. We end this season. Bravo in that call center. Y'all something else. So I hope this is the last of this cast. I give this season all 18 episodes of it an F. It was a complete disaster. It was a complete mess. This is the most terrible season I have ever seen in whole 15
I
whole
called
seasons.
it though in the
You
first
did.
recap. I said the way this is going, I think it's going to be a shitty. Drew did carry the season. That's what James predicted early on. He said, I think she'll carry it. But for me, it wasn't enough. They got to figure it out. I've been watching this shit since I was a teenager, since before I had titties. Fix it production. It doesn't make any sense. It's a good show. The idea is good. I think with RHOA, they just need to get back to the concept of what the Housewives is supposed to be about, instead of just a bunch of bitches who want to be relevant arguing with each other.
And there you have it. So, y'all, that's it for this video. We got to go over to our ladies at the Salt Lake City, Utah, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
When you
So,
met Salt Lake City, no shade, because that show is good, but it's not as interesting as any of the other
it's better
franchises.
than this shit. We just recapped
When
for
they
18
out, that's what I'm
episodes.
saying. When Salt Lake City outdoes RHOA, fix it, give it to God, Bravo, give it to God. That's all I'm gonna say, because that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. But anyways, y'all, we here, and I was corrected. It was 17 episodes. So, overall, y'all like, comment, subscribe to both channels. You know what? Move it on to my next live, y'all, because we're gonna do Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. That episode actually gave. I actually was really entertained. She wasn't as much, Mrs. Best, but hey.
No, I was
I'm
entertained
not-
by Salt Lake City. I just feel like it's calmer than the other shows.
And
is
that's what I
saying.
need at this moment. I don't need all that rowdiness. At least this drama is authentic. So, you know what, y'all? Make sure you go on over to the next live. We'll catch you in the next one. See y'all.